Deep within the realm of chaos, there are some zones where order can be found, precariously existing in the endless swirling and churning maelstrom of shattered, flowing and melting matter amid explosions and bolts and streams of energy, rippling shockwaves where time itself can speed up and slow down, or distances suddenly shorten or lengthen, like one was within the twisted logic of a dream. There are islands of order which have existed for countless years, one of which is a place called the Spawning Stone, and always somewhere near it, a towering golden castle rising from the raw chaos, always with some unobstructed view of the massive stone edifice. This is the domain of the Slaadi Lord of Insanity known as Ssendam, the subject of today's deep dive into the lore of another monster found in the original 1981 Fiend Folio. I'll also be referring to the monstrous compendium info in the article on the Slaadi Lords written by Edward Bonney from Dragon Magazine issue 221. In 3rd edition, Ssendam appeared in Necromancer Games' Tome of Horrors in 2002 and Tome of Horrors Revisited in 2005. So, settle back and grab yourself a tasty beverage. It's time to get deeply nerdy. Ssendam is typical of the Slaad Lords in that she really can't give a damn what the Slaadi species is doing. She revels in the native chaos of the plane called Limbo, her attention scattered one moment, laser-focused the next, aggressive then benevolently introverted, suddenly a screaming, churning, living torment, and the next tootling with rhythmic bubbles, and then silently assaulting the plane and all its occupants around her with a titanic, randomly transformative will. There seems to be no reason for whatever she does. Her only clear goal, it seems, is to target, attack, and drive individuals to absolute insanity, one at a time, relentlessly, eternally, until every creature in the multiverse must become mentally twisted and insane, like her. Why? Because she understands, and I promise you now that very soon I will be producing a video of lore which covers the history before history, and order of events and the formation of the multiverse as it currently exists, from the time of the Great Old Ones in the era of the Spellweavers in the One Realm, the Shattering, the formation of the Outer Planes and the New Gods, the Phlogiston and the Prime Material Plane, the Mind Flayers, the Creator Races, Overgods, Immortals, all of it in one complete lore video on the history of the D&D multiverse that Vecna desperately wants nobody to know. I mention this because one of the many ways Ssendam drives other creatures insane is by imparting all of this information to them direct and unfiltered. Just the nature and reality of the Great Old Ones is really sufficient, but she likes to be thorough. Ssendam is the oldest of the Lords of Chaos, however, she's not the first, and the first is always Ygorl, who moves backward through time. So the beginning is the end for him, and the end sends him slowly back to the beginning. So during the very start of time, at the moment the Spellweavers attempted to all ascend to godhood collectively and shattered the universe, that is where Ygorl is supremely powerful, at the point where chaos ruled and the universe was shattered. So Ssendam has witnessed a universe where the crystal spheres had not yet been made, where the dream realm expanded through the astral, becoming the great wheel cosmology. The new gods of lore battled cosmic forces in the outer realms. Primus, Moradin, Arathis, several others bound the great wheel to an axis, from the portal in the bottom of Nessus in the Nine Hells to the gateway beyond the great wheel of the peak of the seven mountain heavens of Celestia, through the Discworld of the concordant plane of the Outlands, up through an infinite spire and ever-constructing infinite stairway, to a floating city connecting to every plane in the D&D multiverse. Within the plane of Limbo, the home of chaos, the massive spawning stone is guarded by a great golden fortress castle, seemingly unstable and yet gleaming in the sparkling and flaring light. Ssendam spends almost all of her time in her amorphous jelly swarm near the castle and the spawning stone, but can manifest in two startlingly different forms. One is that of a large gold-skinned Slaad, and sometimes, when on the material plane, Ssendam takes on a humanoid form, described by some as an unarmored man and others, more often, describing a golden-skinned elven warrior woman of startling beauty. In any form she decides to take, Ssendam doesn't stop being a lethal threat in combat at any moment. In her usual 20-foot tall gelatinous mass form, she attacks with 4 pseudopods. Her brain is located deep within the golden goo in the center of her mass. Other strange organs exist there. She can reach out 10 feet with those limbs, and each makes a corrosive attack and energy drain on the target. If 3 pseudopods latch on, they incapacitate the target and pull it inside the body mass to digest, taking acid damage each round and eventually suffocation on top of that. Ssendam will usually start with a barrage of mental and magical attacks. Physically, Ssendam is immune to attacks from non-magical weapons, resistant to any psionic attacks and any magic attacks, but immune to attacks affecting the mind in general. Ssendam can use mental and spell-like effects such as astral projection, cloud kill, darkness, detect alignment, detect magic, flame strike, locate object, teleport, wind walk, symbol of insanity, energy drain, holy word, and once per day can grant another being's wish, which requires a minute to cast. Ssendam may be an incomprehensible being with an intelligence that is hard to gauge. Still, she is tactically very dangerous, able to summon a death Slaad to her location once every 10 minutes. She always appears with her black sword in any of her humanoid forms, which inflicts a wicked stunning effect on anyone it hits. In the form of a large golden Slaad, she can lash out with powerful claw and bite attacks. In the form of an elven woman, she attacks with the sword, jabbing punches and rapid-fire crescent kicks, plus her ever-present ability to lash out with an array of different spells while summoning formidable death Slaad, who are eager to kick all kinds of ass for their goddess. Ssendam rarely leaves the territory around the spawning stone and the Golden Castle. Why would she? She has godlike powers there. While in the vicinity of the spawning stone and the Golden Fortress she commands, she has enhanced morphic powers over the landscape, fixing it in place, shaping it, concentrating its force, forming portals to pandemonium in its outskirts. Ssendam was once a green Slaad. She saw insanity as the perfect expression of chaos. Obsessed with madness, she imbued herself with its essence to become a Slaad lord. In her own way, she contributes to chaos by introducing insanity to stable environments. After all, crazies rarely do anything lawful. By introducing madness into an army or a family or a village, she guarantees that chaos inevitably follows. Ssendam does not advance any goal except to render the multiverse insane, one being at a time, and for the most part she remains an enigma, and her methods for reaching out across the planes to touch the minds of others from Limbo is unknown. A final odd characteristic of Ssendam is her apparent tie to the spawning stone. At times she seems floating around the stone in her Slaad form. Based on only an old legend, sages suspect that Ssendam is the self-appointed guardian of the spawning stone. The legend tells of a large pack of demon Vrock who gathered at the spawning stone to eradicate the Death Slaad once and for all. The numerous Vrock had overpowered and killed 4 of the Death Slaadi, with a massive golden Slaad suddenly appearing and dove into the crowd of Vrock. Ssendam bit the head off one Vrock, ripped another in half, squashed a third under her foot, all in the first flurry of combat. When the golden Slaad was finished, she allowed the sole surviving Vrock to limp back to the abyss, and much time has passed before the Tanari returned to Limbo after that. Strangely, for an extraplanar being, Ssendam shares her true name with all she encounters, though disaster is almost certain to befall anyone who's tried to use that information. Despite her weird ways, Ssendam can make reasoned decisions and somehow be bargained with, though one has to be extremely careful not to be destroyed in the process. Originally, being entities of ultimate chaos, the Slaadi followed no set physical form, but Ssendam and Ygorl altered the spawning stone itself to limit the future Slaad generations to a handful of toad-like shapes. But it's possible this limitation could be switched off again, resulting in new Slaadi with potentially the powers of new Slaadi lords appearing randomly. Ssendam is just a never-ending nightmare of Death Slaad summoning. And also, don't go anywhere near her. I don't care how pretty she is on the edge of a portal to the prime material plane. She's evil. Evil! She will eat your face. Like the goddess of all evil exes. Just stay away. My name is AJ Pickett, and if you like the converted stats, a lower powered aspect of Ssendam, and some bonus Slaad Lord chaos info, check out my Patreon page sometime. I've got free stuff. As always, thanks for listening, and I'll be back with more for you very soon. Alright patrons, here's some bonus content for you. I am going to be producing some extra Slaad content, another video on Ygorl, another on Limbo, and another one on Chorst, so that will cover all of the Slaad Lords of Chaos. And in regards to Ygorl and Ssendam being left behind to alter the spawning stone, that was when the Slaad, well, the Bitraki first left the realm of the Forgotten Realms, essentially, and travelled to Limbo to ascend to their own form of chaos godhood, which was essentially merging with the plane of Limbo and spawning as Slaadi, so they freed themselves from their physical forms. However, Ygorl and Ssendam fixed the spawning stone so that it produced the Slaad's toad-like shape that we see, which is closer to what the Bitraki were originally. So it's not a matter of the Slaad being like the Bitraki, it's the Bitraki made the Slaad like them. So some interesting lore there for you. And I've included an aspect of Ssendam. It's a creature that can appear in Limbo or in other places of chaos and spread all sorts of good cheer. Basically, it's a victim of Ssendam merging people together to make brains like hers. And it's a quick way to make somebody quite insane is by merging their brain with a bunch of other people. So there you go. Have fun, everyone. I'll catch you again soon.